Hi everyone, it's Mahmoud. Welcome back for another cool tutorial with xpSound. Today we are exploring the awesome world of Melodic Meshes. Let's get it started. In this tutorial we will be using xpSound modifier in XParticles to map sounds and control particles parameters such as speed and emission. It's a powerful way to create dynamic effects that react to the sound. We will use mtlnset to extrude surfaces and also xpVertex map to put particles in the right places for animations that react to the sound. In control modifiers you can find xpSound, and also in XParticles utilities you can find xpVertex map, and in MeshTools you can find mtlnset. Want to learn more about xpSound? Find direct links in the video description for additional insight. Next we will combine MoExtrude for extrusion effects with the plane effectors in XParticles to create dynamic audio-driven animations. Now let's dive into enhancing surfaces with the closed surface, subdivision surface, smoothing, and volume builder. These tools help elevate the look and the feel of your animations, create smoother and more detailed surfaces. It's time to dive in. Let's get started. Here just create a very simple disk object with the outer radius 500 and also the disk segment and rotation segment 50 and 50. Create also a XP system here. If you select our XP system object emitter, its emitter shape is rectangle. So we change it to circle, ring only we will activate, and also the cone angle we will add to 90 degree. Emitter plane from Z plus we change it to the Y plus. Let's move the emitter to the surface, and now if you play you see that particles are emitting to the outside, and this is exactly what we need. Now select our XP emitter emission and speed we make it 0. We do not need any speed here because we won't control the speed of the particles with our music or our sound. So here in the modifier, in control modifier, we will add our xpSound modifier. And here in our object, sound, you just need to click here and upload your music or your sound effect. After uploading your music here, now we will select our map sound, and here in map sound we will add the parameter that we want to control with the music, and here instead of the color parameter we will select our speed. And now let's play again, and you see that particles are reacting to the sound and our music here. To be able to listen to the music to the timeline and also have control to turn it on and off here, we will just add our sound effector. Just select it here and just drag it here to the modifier close to xpSound modifier, and we will add here soundtrack, the exactly that we have here for xpSound. Just select soundtrack here and load your music. And if we back to our xpSound here and in parameter speed, let's make maximum speed 150, and also the dB range we make it for example 25. And now let's play again. Now we can see that particles are moving faster. Let's select our XP emitter, and in display we change editor display from square to sphere that we can see better in preview. Now we need to map our particles on the surface. For this we will use our vertex map in utilities. Let's click on utilities, and here we will select xpVertex map, and in object we will drag the surface, which is here our disk that we wanted particles to be mapped on. So we drag our disk here, and as soon as you drag the disk here you see that we have a vertex map icon added immediately on our surface. Let's select our xpVertex map, and you can see here that all of the surface turned to red. So let's back again to our xpVertex map. Here the default one is polygon. Let's delete it and select our XP emitter, and here in add part we will click here and select XParticles. If we select our XParticles vertices, here in objects we just need drag our XP emitter here, and as soon as we drag our XP emitter here you see that we map easily the particles on our disk surface. You can see here that particles are beautifully mapped on our surface. Now it's time to add extrusion to our this surface. We select our Insidium, MeshTools, and also MeshTools Nset. Let's drag MeshTools Nset here to our utility. Also, we drag the disk as a child of our MeshTools Nset. And here, if we select our MeshTools Nset in Object, we have the offset, which is 0 plus 150 for now. Here you can give variations. Also, you can add to the amount to give a different, interesting shape. You can also give here variation. We make this 0 and also here 0. We just stay focused on offset for now. Now we want the offset extrusion that we have here react to the particles. For this we have field, and also we already created on our disk or tag, which is our xpVertex map tag. We just select and drag it here in our field. Particles are creating extrusion, but it's not what we really want. We select our MeshTools Nset, and in Object here the sampling mode we change from per point to center. And as soon as we change to the center, you can see that the surfaces are changing to the boxes, and exactly what we wanted now. And particles are creating extrusion on each polygon and each surface based on our music. Here you can see that our extrusion is not very smooth. To make it more smooth, one way is just select our MeshTools Nset here, and in the field we will add here the delay parameter. Just select it here, and now you can see it's more smooth. And with the effect strength, we can art direct it that how much do you want to see the smoothness on your surface animation. Let's make it, for example, here 25%. It worked perfectly, it's not very jaggy, and also is very smooth. The other way to make the smooth here is on xpVertex map. If we select it here and our object here, and we can add to the range here. You can make it, for example, 50, and let's play again. And you see it's more smooth. And if you make it 5, you can see it's more jaggy. Playing with this range parameter will help you to art direct the smoothness of your extrusion based on your sound and your music. Let's back to 30 for now. And another option to create smoothness is playing with the strength. Default is 100. You can make it, for example, 50, and see if it works with your music. These parameters, strength and the range, and also in the MeshTools Nset field, the delay, the effect strength here, and playing with these numbers based on your sound and your music, you can art direct the smoothness of your audio-reactive animation with these parameters. To create a new surface instead of only cubes here, we can add subdivision surface and also smoothing. Let's add subdivision surface here, just drag it here to utilities, and also drag our MeshTools as a child of our subdivision surface. Here, if we select our subdivision surface, we can add to the subdivision viewport and render. Just add one number. We don't want to be very slow computer, and you can see that surfaces are starting to be very smooth here. Also, we can add our smoothing here. Just drag it at the utility again at the top of our subdivision surface. And here, by adding to iterations or stiffness here, we can a little bit art direct and enhance the surface and create just a new shapes here. We can always back to our MeshTools here and offset, for example, add to this parameter and make it 250. By creating a right balance between the MeshTools Nset parameters and also subdivision surface and smoothing, you can create a beautiful enhanced surfaces. To see better in preview, I make the segments 25 and 25. And now let's play again. We can see better how surfaces are smooth and how they are reacting to the sound. Also, if we select our MeshTools Nset here field, we can add here the invert parameters and invert our field. Just select and add here the invert. If we play here again, you see that our surface is inverted and create a new effect for us. To add more randomness to our surface, here we can, in Insidium, MeshTools, we can add our MeshTools subdivider. Just drag it here as a child of MeshTools nset and also this as a child of our subdivider. And if we select our subdivider here object, we just add a noise here to give more randomness to our surface. Here if you select the noise, you can change the noise type here, or with the brightness and also contrast, you can art direct the randomness on your surface. Here you can see I have used the same technique that we have talked about it for the intro project. If you select our emitter here, you can see it's ring only activated. This radius 5 is emitter shaped circle, Y and cone angle 90 degree. Emission is on rate and birth rate 100, speed is 0. And also the object is just a simple disk with the outer radius 600 and segments are 35 here. Here also I have used xpVertex map. Object here is disk and added xParticle vertices. And here our object, the emitter here is dragged. The strength here is 80% and the range here is 50. The range follow off, also you can select a different range follow off from here and you can see which one is working better with your music. Here also I've used smoothing with the iteration 25 and stiffness 85%. And here we have the closed surface. Instead of the subdivision surface, you can also use closed surface with the subdivision 1. Here we have our MeshTools nset and the division is 2, the offset is 150 and the twist is 90 degree. You can also change the direction here by giving the different number and also variation to keep more randomness. The variation here is 90%. And if you select here field, you can see here I have added delay, invert, and also here vertex map source as a field. Just drag it from here to here. And also just the extra field here to keep the center of the surface excluded from the particles. Here also added MeshTools subdivider with subdivision 1 and also shader added just a simple noise from here and the noise type is Voronoi 3. In xpSound I have added two map parameters, one is the speed and one is emission. In map parameter speed, dB range I have selected 50, frequency max is 44,100 and also speed max 100. And here I have selected just a different preset, the easing preset. You can also experiment with different map from here. You can also add map parameter emission and experiment with it. Now we will create our audio-reactive motion graphic using MoExtrude instead of using MeshTools nset and also xpVertex map. We will get the same results but a different technique. Here we have our scene that we have created at the very beginning of this tutorial. Our XP emitter, object, emitter shaped circle, disk radius 50, emitter plane, plus Y, cone angle 90 and ring only. Emission also is rate, bitrate 1000 and speed 0. And here our disk, radius outer is 500 and these segments and rotation segments are 50 and 50. And in modifier we have only our xpSound modifier. And here in map sound we have two parameters, one is the speed and also I have added emission. In speed we have here dB range 15 and maximum 150, and also in emission we have here dB range 25 and max is only 5. Based on your sound and your music, this parameter can be changed. Now it's time to add MoExtrude. Here we select MoExtrude and just drag it here in utility. Here utility is like our null object and now you see that our disk is already extruded. If we select our MoExtrude here, transform we change from root to per step and also extrusion step for now we add only 1. And in transform the Z is 5, we keep it as it is. Now we will add our plane effector here. Just drag it in utility to be organized. If we select our plane effector in parameter X, Y, Z, we just add 0 here and for Z we add 150. And now we have our extrusion. But now we want the extrusion react to our particles. So here we select our plane effector field and we will drag our XP emitter here. If we play here, we do not have any extrusion still. There is no extrusion created by particles. One more step is just we select our XP emitter and also we select our editing, and here editable we make activate. And now if you play again, you can see that we create extrusion with our particles. But now we need to make it a little bit more smooth because it's a little bit jaggy. For this we just select our plane effector here, and in field we will add another field. This time we'll add our random field. And in blending mode we will select multiply. Now let's play. It's much better, but we can still make it even more smooth. Now here we will select our delay and just add the delay here, and now let's play again. And you see it's very smooth, and the surface is also reacting to the sound beautifully. If we select our MoExtrude in transform, we can also change scale of X and Y and create easily new shape and new surface. Let's change this, for example, 0.6 and also 0.6, and with just the new number we have created a new surface. Feel free to experiment with these parameters, see what you can do and what you can create with this technique. Even we can add another effector. For example, we have started with the plane effector. Now we can add a random effector. Just click it here and just drag it here in utility. And also in parameter, we don't need position, we don't need rotation, we can only have random scale. Just activate and also absolute scale. Let's make this minus, for example, 0.5. And now you can see we have easily created a new surface and new shape. And finally, we can invert all of the extrusion by simply selecting our plane effector, and in field we just select the invert and add it here. And now you can see all of extrusion is inverted. To make our surface here very smooth, we will add subdivision surface. Let's click here and add subdivision surface and also drag it here to utility. One more step is just drag MoExtrude as a child of our disk, and then drag our disk as a child of our subdivision surface. And now we created our smooth and a new version of our extrusion. Let's click here the disk and make the segment 25 and 25 to see better. And now let's play again. By adding subdivision surface, we have easily created smooth and a new extrusion. We can also experiment with the volume builder and volume mesher instead of subdivision surface. Let's delete our subdivision surface for now and just add our volume builder and volume mesher. Now let's drag it here and add disk as a child of volume builder and also volume mesher here, and also volume builder as a child of volume mesher. We have now a new surface, but still we need to work on it. If we select our volume builder, here we have voxel size, we can change it to number 2. And also if we select our volume mesher, the voxel range threshold, we can change it to, for example, 70. If you want to add a little bit more detail on your surface, easily you can select here and create a random fill. And if we select our volume builder, here in objects, we can just drag our random fill here. Let's put it at the top of our disk, and here in the mode we will select subtract, and creation space we will add object below, and also surface threshold, instead of 0.5 we will add 0.6. And also here in volume mesher, in voxel range threshold, you can a little bit add to it or make it less and find the right balance that you are looking for. In this scene I have used the same technique that we have talked about it, using emitter and also plane effector and MoExtrude to create our extrusion. Let's select our emitter here. Our emitter is here object, emitter shape. This time instead of circle I have selected torus. You can also experiment with different shapes. Inner radius 25, outer 50. Emission type I have selected rate, and also we don't have any speed here. The disk object also is the outer radius 600 and segment is 30 and 30. I have added also subdivision surface, and if we select our MoExtrude here, extrusion step is only 2, and I have selected from root and transform, the Z is 4 and everything here is default. I have also added smoothing here with only 15% strength and also iteration 25, stiffness 40%. Now if we select our plane effector, here you can see in parameter I have activated not only Z, also I have added to the X. Because I wanted also particle in X direction, they change during the time. You can also experiment with the other direction and see what you can get out of it. I have activated the scale and absolute scale and scale -1. And finally our xpSound here. In Map Sound we have two parameters, speed and emission. In speed parameter, just dB range 30 and the max is 150, and map parameter emission, dB range 25 and max is 50. Here for this scene, I've used volume measure with voxel range 75%, volume builder with the voxel size 1.5, and here just dragged our MeshTools nset object here, and finally adding smoothing with the iteration 10 and stiffness 30%.